Today I'm reviewing my stay at the Atlantic Host Hotel in Bathurst, New Brunswick, Canada. This property is part of Wyndham's Trademark Collection. And to be honest, this hotel feels very dated overall. It's one of those places where you can't really just point out one single issue, but everything together creates the impression that the property hasn't really kept up with time and hasn't been maintained particularly well. It already starts with the room keys. These are not modern RFID cards as you see in most hotels nowadays, but instead old-style magnetic stripe cards, which means you have to be careful not to demagnetize them. Of course, it's not a huge deal, but it already makes a not-so-modern first impression. And it also means that all app-based room keys are not working here. And unfortunately, this outdated feeling continues inside the room. The air conditioning is controlled by a very old-fashioned wall panel, the TV looks extremely old, and the bathroom is tiny. If you're a bit on the heavier side, I guess showering would become quite uncomfortable due to the narrow shower space. And overall, the entire bathroom is simply very small and not particularly practical. There are also several small details that show a lack of thoughtful design. For example, there are two bedside lamps, one on each side of the bed. However, only one side has a power outlet for charging your phone. And that specific lamp is connected to the main room light switch near the entrance. So when you turn off the room lights at the door, you also turn off the bedside lamp. Which is most likely the side where you want to lay down, since that's where your phone is. Once again, not a huge deal, but it shows how it was just not well thought out. And it's another detail that reduces the quality of staying there bit by bit. But by far the worst part of the room is the work desk. I'm 6'2", which isn't unusually tall, and even I couldn't sit at this desk properly. My knees were pressed against the front of the desk even when the chair was set to its lowest position, and it was just extremely uncomfortable. This is probably the lowest desk I've ever experienced in any hotel. When it comes to the amenities, there are a few positives. They have a solid a la carte bar restaurant, breakfast is decent with made-to-order options, and parking is completely free with plenty of available spaces. One particularly interesting feature is the gym. It's extremely well equipped with a surprisingly wide variety of machines, more like a small commercial gym rather than a typical hotel fitness room. However, the gym is incredibly small and cramped. Probably the smallest hotel gym I've ever seen in terms of space, but with the most equipment packed into it. Training alone or with one other person is fine, but with more people it would quickly get uncomfortable. Overall, the Atlantic Host Hotel feels outdated and quite poorly thought out in many areas. While there are a few positives, especially when it comes to the amenities, the overall experience is held back by the age of the property and the lack of modern updates. But Bathurst is just a small town and there are not many alternatives. There's a Quality Inn, a Comfort Inn, a Best Western Plus, and that's about it. So this hotel is still one of the better options there. And I don't think it's a bad hotel per se. The location is great, for example. It's pretty quiet even though it sits right along the New Brunswick Route 11. The staff was also very helpful and friendly. All this hotel really needs is a proper renovation and modernization. That's it for today. Thanks for watching and feel free to check out one of my other videos.